Welcome back to Bike Ride Reviews. Today we're taking to the trails with this sleek bike from Scott Sports. The Spark is a high travel cross-country bike, or a downcountry bike, as Scott describes it. Reviewers of the higher end Spark models, like the 910, 920, and 930, praise its trail performance and climbing ability. But how does this entry-level option compare, the Spark 970? Is this the perfect choice for beginner mountain bikers who want to upgrade as they go? Let's find out. Unboxing the Spark was easy. There's no need to lift the bike out of the box. You just open one end and slide out a cardboard tray that contains everything. The Spark comes with a toolkit, accessories like a shock pump, and assembly documents. Scott also provides an assembly video on YouTube. The packaging is more environmentally friendly than I see with many bikes, with minimal plastic used. The bike comes mostly assembled, with an initial note attached to the down tube showing who put the bike together. I aligned and tightened the stem, installed the wheels, and checked bolt torques. My test bike arrived with everything assembled correctly, all the components set up properly, and grease applied in all the right places. Scott describes the Spark 970 as a lightweight and ultra-capable short travel trail bike. Whether you call it a high travel cross country or a down country is up to you. But one thing is clear, the Spark 970 looks great. The tan tires and matching Tofino seat complement the clean, modern frame design and slick blue paint job. We're testing the size large, but the Spark also comes in small, medium, and extra large sizes. The geometry suggests a well-rounded trail bike. The Spark 970 has an aluminum frame with a single pivot rear suspension and 120mm of travel. Up front is a 130mm RockShox Judy silver fork. Scott has done a great job of hiding the X-Fusion Nude 5 shock inside the frame, at the base of the seat tube, where it's protected from muck thrown up by the rear tire. This integration, together with the internal cabling, gives a sleek-looking appearance. Rebound and air pressure can be adjusted on the fork and shock, and compression is managed using the twin lock system. The twin lock lever, above the dropper lever, lets you flip between 3 ride modes on the move. The 3 settings are descend, traction control, and lockout. This easy adjustability is great, but the twin lock system does limit upgrade options, as twin lock requires a special damper and control unit that are only available on Scott bikes. The shock's location inside the frame also limits upgrades, because Scott's custom nude-style shocks have a bespoke air valve. Other shocks will fit, but without Scott's nude customization, the damper can't be adjusted without removing the shock. The fully assembled Spark 970 weighs 32.96 pounds without pedals. This is a pretty good weight for a low-travel aluminum trail bike in this price range, especially when it's compared to models with the same travel. For example, the carbon fiber Santa Cruz Tallboy and the Trek Top Fuel 8 weigh 31 pounds and 32.15 pounds, but they cost significantly more. The 29-inch wheels have Formula CL hubs and Synchros X30 SE aluminum rims. The 30mm internal width pairs nicely with the 2.4-inch Schwab Wicked Wheel tires. The rims are tubeless ready, but the Wicked Wheel Performance tires are not. While I appreciate that Scott needs to keep costs down, non-tubeless ready tires really seem like a waste of space here, and they would need to be upgraded. Like most competitors, the Spark 970 has a SRAM SX drivetrain and an NX derailleur. The 12-speed 11 to 52 gearing provides plenty of range for climbing, and it delivers reliable performance on the trails. A full-length rubber guard protects the chainstay from any chain slap. Braking is by Shimano, with MT201 levers and SM RT10 CL 180mm rotors. I was disappointed to see that these rotors aren't compatible with metallic pads, which I've found to offer significant benefits over resin. As you'll see later, the 970's stock rotors and resin pads can't really keep up with the rest of this bike. And if you want to upgrade to metallic pads, you'll also need to spend a little bit of money on brake rotors too. The Synchros Fraser 2.0 handlebar sweeps up and back. I liked this shape on climbs, but not so much on the descents. However, once I got used to the handlebar, I found that the 760mm width provided stability at speed and plenty of leverage in turns, without hindering maneuverability as I squeezed between trees. The Synchros integrated stem directs the cables into the frame, and the Synchros Across Angle Adjust headset lets you change the head angle from the stock setting of 65.8 to a steeper 66.4 degrees. It's easy to do. Just remove the handlebar and spacers and rotate the headset cups 180 degrees. The cockpit has the SRAM SX trigger shifter on the right, the 3 levers for the twin lock and dropper post on the left, and Synchros Performance cross-country lock-on grips. The Synchros Tofino 2.5 saddle sits on a Synchros Duncan dropper post, with 150mm of travel on the large and extra large frames. There's a pair of bottle cage bosses on the seat tube and a set of 3 pack bosses on the down tube. Scott recommends 25% suspension sag for general trail riding. I tried the bike with 25% and 30%, before finding the ideal setting for my riding style with the sag at around 27.5% for my rider weight of 200 pounds. For all suspension setups, I set the rebound at 4 of 5 steps from the slowest on the fork and 3 out of 6 steps from the slowest on the shock. I used a tire pressure of 24.5 psi in the front and 25.5 psi in the back. And I tested the Spark 970 on a range of trails, from wide grinding double track climbs to tight cross-country single track, and some moderate to advanced flow and tech descents. I found it to be an effective climber. It's quick to accelerate and easily maintains speed. The 76.4 degree seat tube angle positions you over the cranks, which helps power transfer. The seated position is comfortable, whether you're climbing or you're powering through a cross-country trail, and the bike feels light and responsive. I had no problems maneuvering the Spark, whether I was working technical low-speed sections or carving into corners at higher speeds. Given the bike's cross-country designation and relatively low-cost suspension components, I was surprised by the Spark 970's capacity for descents. The long wheelbase and 470mm reach give the bike a stable, planted feel at speed, and it made it easy to control through rough downhill trail sections. The Spark felt well matched to the blue and black flow trails that I took it on, and I found myself comfortably taking on descents that I wasn't expecting to ride when I first unpacked the Spark. I experimented with both head angles, but preferred the stock 65.8 degree setting, as the quicker steering with the steeper 66.4 degree head angle reduced my confidence during descents and in high-speed cornering. As I mentioned earlier, I tried the bike with the suspension sag set to 25% and 30%, before settling on my sweet spot in the middle of those two, which gave me full suspension travel without the shock bottoming out. The twin lock system lets you choose between 3 suspension settings on the fly: descend, traction control, and lockout. I generally move between the descend and traction settings, occasionally using the lockout for smooth double track climbs. Traction mode stiffens the fork and the shock, and it limits rear travel to 80mm. This setting provides some suspension travel to smooth out rocks and roots while maximizing power transfer, making it great for climbs and fast riding over cross-country terrain. The bike carves stable arcs at high cornering speeds, with reasonable traction in most circumstances. You can preload and hold lines confidently. Over very loose terrain like large rocks and gravel, however, the bike was getting thrown around, and the tires really lacked grip on wet rocks and wood. I had to be very careful coming over wood obstacles, and I often slipped out on roots. Wicked Wheel Performance is the cheapest version of this Schwab tire, and I would love to see how this bike performs with the much better Wicked Wheel Super Trail with an Addix Speed Grip setup tubeless. The softer compound, firmer casing, and lower tire pressure could remedy some of my complaints. I'm used to riding wheels with a better compound, and normally I don't have these issues on wet wood. The stock Shimano disc brakes are fine for cross-country riding in trails, but the Spark is so good at descending that I soon found the limits of the 2-piston calipers and resin pads. On some local blue and black trails I know well, my lack of confidence in the brakes held me back. Used to more powerful 4-piston brakes with metallic pads, I found myself entering corners faster than I expected, and I struggled to brake hard on steep descents without locking up the wheels. To feel in control, I had to reduce my speed and brake earlier than I normally would. Despite my reservations about the brakes, I was impressed with the Spark 970. It's a versatile and capable bike that lets you comfortably expand your riding to a range of trails. It's responsive and quick on climbs, and just as fast and confident when descending. So what are my headline pros and cons for this bike? The Spark 970 has great pedal efficiency and climbing capability. It accelerates quickly and it maintains speed well. The steeper seat tube angle puts you in an efficient pedaling position, whether you're tackling punchy single track climbs or long double track grinds, making climbs almost as much fun as the descents. My second pro are those cornering and descents. I normally ride an enduro bike with a 170mm fork and 150mm of rear suspension travel. And I like riding fast, technical trails. So I was surprised by the Spark 970's confidence navigating some pretty steep trails that included jumps and small drops. As I continued to explore, I found that contrary to this bike's cross-country designation, I had no problem tackling Blue Flow and Tech without feeling like I was exceeding the Spark's limits. Even though it's an entry-level option, the Spark 970 can handle an impressive range of trails. And my third pro is the appearance and integration. This bike looks fantastic. The integrated shock and internal cabling create a slick appearance. The tan tires and brown seat contrast nicely against the dark frame and black components. And my first con are the brakes. The Shimano brakes lack the power and control that are needed for steep, fast trail sections. I had to keep my speeds lower and brake earlier than I'm used to. The rotors are only compatible with resin pads, so you can't simply swap to a metallic compound, which would improve things a lot. Because the Spark 970 is so capable downhill, it's easy to get into situations where the brakes fall short. My second con are upgrades and maintenance. The hidden shock and twin lock suspension adjustment are nice touches, but they seriously limit the options for upgrading the suspension. Twin lock uses special dampers and control units on the fork and shock, and the air valve on the shock is a custom design required to work with this frame. These forks and shocks aren't available in the aftermarket, and it appears that Scott won't sell upgraded parts separately. So your only real options are to source used parts or to give up twin lock. And even then, you won't be able to adjust the shock's air pressure on the bike. If there's a risk of the Spark 970's suspension being a limiting factor for you, you might be better off with a more expensive Spark build. So is the Spark 970 a good choice for budget-conscious riders who want to upgrade as they progress? The answer is complicated. The Spark 970 delivers where it matters most. It's a great climber. It accelerates quickly, and it maintains speed with impressive pedal efficiency. The bike's confidence and stability on descents and a range of aggressive trails really surprised me. For an entry-level cross-country bike, it's very impressive. The twin lock system is very useful, and it further enhances the bike's versatility. And the Spark just looks great. On the other hand, the Shimano brakes can't keep up with this bike's capacity for descents. But a new set of rotors and some metallic pads could help a lot, without costing too much. The most important consideration for buyers is the limited upgradability of the suspension. Scott's proprietary twin lock system and the design of the frame severely reduce your options. You can't buy the bespoke forks or shocks anywhere. And if you install aftermarket components, you lose twin lock and the ability to adjust the shock on this bike. The Spark 970 retails for around $25.99, and it's been on sale for as low as $1,000. At this price, you get a capable, good-looking cross-country bike that performs well on varied trails. If you plan to make only minor upgrades to things like tires and brakes, the Spark 970 offers great value, especially when it's on sale. So that's the Spark 970. Are the sleek looks and performance enough to seal the deal for you? Or do the limited upgrade options put you off? If you own a Spark, let me know what you think. And if you're still looking for your next bike, check out bikeride.com for our best bike lists and hundreds of reviews. You can also find cycling events near you, check out our repair guides, and chat with other cyclists in our forums. I'll be back soon with another review. Thanks for watching.